So chapter 104 begins with numerous shuttles entering the Earth's atmosphere, and they crash land onto the planet, transforming the city into Victorian London. The group's leader orders for more filth, to which the minions comply using their sludge guns, further contaminating the environment and everyone in the vicinity. However, a brush locks onto one of the soldiers, denting him in the cheek like it's Tom and Jerry, and a B-Tech Captain Falcon pounces on the scene, declaring that the leader's nefarious plans will be tossed in the bin. This is finally when the superhero exclaims he's the one who scrubs away all evil, introducing himself as Clean God. Meanwhile, Goten and Trunks are watching the fight on TV, with the former's eyes glistening like golden apples, whereas Trunks is thinking, "Shut your lame ass up, man." Anywho, the superhero feeds the soldiers so many bristles that they repent for their actions by cleaning up their mess. And once I read this, I knew that Gogeta wasn't fit to tie Clean God's shoes even with his Soul Punisher. Dirty Mad's minions then shoot the stink cannon, catching the superhero lacking with that vile stench, and it turns out that the gas also has the ability to drain an opponent's strength. A special announcement is made to confirm Clean God's debut in cinemas, which has Trunks further hating on him due to the dated outfit, unlike Goten, who digs the old school feel. The next morning, the Half Saiyans arrive at school, where Trunks mentions that his class has a field trip today to the local museum. When the bus arrives at the landmark, it's revealed that the museum houses the sculptures of the Earth's mightiest heroes. This includes Olibu, who appeared in the Otherworld tournament, and Mutai Ito, the martial artist who sealed the Demon King Piccolo in a rice cooker. One student assumed that these heroes had achieved generational wealth and fame, but the tour guide mentions that it's far from the truth, since some of them had died honorably in their battles. Most heroes kept their identity secret, such as Goku, whose statue resembles a hidden character on the menu screen, but this contrasts with the champion that allegedly defeated Cell, Hercule. However, Trunks pays no attention to most of the sculptures, barring one which was none other than the Great Saiyaman. Afterwards, the whole class set up a picnic for lunch when they notice the Clean God movie being filmed right next to them. All the students join the group of cosplayers to watch peak cinema unfold, but suddenly their hats are stolen by some individuals concealing their face. That's when the police arrive, questioning if anyone has seen any thieves who looted the landmark of its artifacts. They then get outed by the cosplayers, revealing their identity, so one of them grabs Trunks using the Half Saiyan as a hostage. He is literally the last person you want to hold captive, because Trunks snatches the knife off the criminal to slam him square in the stomach, knocking the thief out stone cold. Before Trunks could attract attention from unleashing his Saiyan powers, Clean God intervenes, advising him not to use his abilities whilst his true identity is exposed. The superhero rushes into battle instead, performing the clean kick, so one thief uses up the whole magazine to put him down. Remarkably, Clean God catches each of his bullets before converting into a Beyblade to stomp on the criminal's chest, and in that moment Trunks realizes Clean God isn't a fraud after all. As a last resort, the thief seizes the tour guide as a hostage and demands for Clean God to take off his mask, knowing that he's not facing your typical actor. Clean God proceeds to ask Trunks why heroes wear disguises, so the Half Saiyan assumes it's to look cool. The superhero then flicks a bullet at the criminal, knocking the firearm out his palms, enabling for him to serve a beautiful karate chop before asking Trunks if there's people that holds dear to him. This stirs thoughts inside the Half Saiyan's brain, picturing his classmates, Goten, his family, and the most egregious case by far, Mai.
Really him. You're a victim.
This is just sad to watch. There's no way Trunks is falling for someone who's older than Goku. Someone needs to tell him the truth ASAP, because Trunks deserves so much more. Anywho, Clean God explains that wearing disguises not only looks cool, but also allows heroes to protect their loved ones prior to delivering a critical uppercut. The fire hydrant is twisted open to keep the criminal in the sky, and Clean God whizzes around the water, forming an entire tornado. Trunks hands the brush to the superhero, which means he can perform his ultimate move, the Aqua Wash, and this successfully cleanses every ounce of evil inside the thief's soul. As goofy as he looks throughout this chapter, you have to admit they cooked their feast with this single page of Clean God, and even Trunks agreed with this sentiment, acknowledging that Clean God embodies what it means to be a true hero. There's no way the half Saiyan had practically speed ran this lesson in comparison to the entirety of Class 1A. After the criminal had repented for his sins, Goten spots Trunks playing the AAA Clean God game on the PlayStation and yanks the controller off his friend to get a piece of it too. That's when Goten brews up the idea for them two to become superheroes in real life, but stops himself, suspecting that Trunks would not be interested. However, thanks to stumbling upon Clean God, the half Saiyan is genuinely invested in his plan, so he pulls out the notepad to jot down ideas for their suits. After some discussion, Goten and Trunks finish up designing their outfits, whilst also deciding on their hero names, going with Saiyaman X1 and X2 since it adds an aura of mystery to their Saiyan heritage. Meanwhile, at Hercule's place, Clean God strolls into the room, ripping off the synthetic skin, and also takes off his helmet, unveiling none other than Gohan as the one behind the costume. The champ then apologizes to Gohan for mixing him up in all this, as the student who was originally meant to play as Clean God had ended up sick. Videl asks if her husband had resolved the situation at the museum, to which he mentions they were merely petty criminals, but what she really was referring to was the fact that Trunks was present at the crime scene. Gohan informs her it was a success, elaborating that he was close to using his powers, which would have made Trunks' school life an utter shambles if everyone found out. This was tripped down memory lane for Videl from when Gohan took up the mantle of the Golden Fighter, and the half Saiyan proceeds to tap the Clean God suit by its neck, showcasing its very own voice changer. After Videl encourages everyone to keep this secret from Bulma, Hercule then reminds her that Pan has finished school. And I know the bar has sunken for them two as parents like the Titanic, but let's just give a round of applause for Gohan and Videl, because they actually went to pick up Pan for once instead of relying on Piccolo. A few days later, the police are in pursuit of some criminals on bikes, where one of them was seconds away from running over a child. Hold on a minute, time out, is that Marin? Oh my lord, I was just mocking Gohan and Videl for being awful parents, but 18 and Krillin are not even to be seen in a 5-mile radius. And the worst part of all this is that Krillin is employed as a police officer, so why is he of all people not on the chase? This is why my GOAT policeman is Chase McCain, because he'd never allowed this to slide. Anywho, a Clean God billboard lands in front of the kid, affirming that the criminals will be punished for speeding, and that's when two new superheroes make their debut, revealing themselves as Saiyaman X1 and X2. Overall, for what it is, I really like this chapter, especially with the Obito and Mutai Ito Easter eggs. However, I hope we're done with the Goten and Trunks side story stuff starting from the next chapter, if it does release next month, and actually begin the next big arc. Not gonna lie, I don't want to instantly rush into the Black Frieza arc, but instead I want the gang to finally travel to Universe 6 for a visit to planet Sadala, just like Cabba promised almost no joke a decade ago. Goku got his own statue in the museum for his countless heroics, and this was in full display throughout the humbling he gave Moro, so please click here if you're interested.